Hello guys, how are you? First of all, I'd like to welcome all of the attendees of this webinar. My name is Muhi Ashmuni. I will be your host today. For the ones who don't know me, I'm the Customer Relations Manager here at Kotobee. I've been here for almost 7 or 8 months. I'm really enjoying it here and hope that you too are enjoying the webinars we're giving. Okay, so before I start with our main topic today, which is master creating ebook apps for Android with zero coding. Okay, let me first show you the outline of our webinar. First, we will start with a brief introduction about ebooks, and then I will give you a small comparison between creating Android ebook apps with the traditional way and with our way, which will require zero coding. Okay, and finally, I'll show you the free support channels that you can use to get support as fast as possible. And finally, of course, there will be 10 to 15 minutes maybe for answering all of your questions. Okay, and of course, before we can continue, today's gift will be a discount coupon that will be available to all the attendees of this webinar at the end of the webinar. So make sure you remain till the end, and I will give you the coupon code that you can use while purchasing any of our licenses. Okay, so let's start. As you all know, everything is evolving around us, and this includes the books. Actually, books started with the heavy printed ones, and then they evolved a little bit to the software form, which is the PDF format. And finally, it reached the interactive ebooks, which contains interactive components like videos, audio files, questions, book widgets, and such components. Actually, there are many formats that support interactive ebooks. However, the most famous one is the EPUB format. Okay, so as you can see here now, that the conversion started from the printed ones to the software form, the PDF, and reached the EPUB format. So as for today's webinar, we're going to talk about creating Android ebook apps. Okay, there are basically two ways. The first one is the traditional way, where you're gonna need, of course, coding experience, basically Java, as you're gonna code the ebook app from scratch. Of course, you will need Android Studio, which is the software you're gonna use, and finally, you will need a JDK. Why will you need a JDK? Because you will need to create something called the key store. Actually, all apps must be digitally signed with a certificate for the Google Play Store to approve or to accept this app. And the key store file is this certificate. Each certificate has a private password that only the developer will know. Okay, so to create this key store file manually, you will need the JDK as well as the command line prompt. So why all of this headache to create your ebook, your Android ebook app? We found a solution here at Kotobee that you can use that will let you, let's say, reduce all of this effort and will make you concentrate on only the content of your ebook. So our own way is creating the Android ebook apps with zero coding. First, you will create the ebook content either from scratch or importing a PDF if you already have a PDF of your ebook, or maybe the EPUB file if you already have the EPUB file, which is better, of course. And then you can add interactive elements over this book if you want to add some videos, some audio files, questions to your ebook. And finally, you will export to an Android app with by clicking a button. Okay, and I will show you all of this in a while. Also, you have other multiple formats that you can export your ebook to other than exporting it as an Android app. Okay, so To do this, we will need to use the Kotobee author. So first, let me give you a brief introduction about Kotobee. Kotobee is actually a complete end-to-end ebook solution for any organization or institute. We have many products, but today we will be concentrating on the Kotobee author, which is our main tool that you can use to create your ebooks, to publish them, and to manage these ebooks. Okay, so let me show you a practical example on how to apply the 3 steps I've just mentioned to create your Android ebook apps. We will move to the Kotobee author itself. Okay, for the ones who are seeing this for the first time, our software is mainly divided into 4 primary panels: the edit, customize, export, and manage panels. Okay, so in the edit panel, you're basically creating the content of your ebook. Okay, as I mentioned, you can create it from scratch by adding new chapters and new sub-chapters if you want, or you can import a PDF if you already have the PDF of your ebook. Also, you can import an HTML file if you already have the HTML file of your ebook, or a URL. Let's say you want to import a WordPress article, a Wikipedia article, for example, and you can divide it into chapters and have it all wrapped up in an Android app. Okay. After creating the content of your ebook, as I mentioned, by adding images, galleries, links, anchors, questions, video files, audio files, widgets, after doing all of these from the edit panel, we will move forward to the customize panel, where you're gonna customize the look and feel of your app. As you can see here, it's divided into 2 sections, the design and components. In the design section, you're basically designing the look of your app. You can add your own custom logo or your own startup image to replace the Kotobee logo, which appeared at the start of the ebook. Okay, you can play around with the colors of the upper bar and the lower bar. I can change this and also this color. Okay, as you can see here, it's changed. I can also play around with the colors of the bottom bar and the text inside these 2 bars. Okay, this is in the design section. In the component section, you can enable or disable any of the components inside your app. Like, for example, there is no media tab here. You have only chapters, notebook, search, and settings. If I enable the media tab, which is already disabled, okay, and restart the ebook, you will be able to see that there will be a media tab in your bottom bar. Now, what's the use of this tab? As you can see here, there's an extra tab, which is the media tab. If I click on it, it will give me access to all of the images inside my ebook directly from this section. I don't have to go to each chapter to review or to display these images. Okay, you can do so with any of the other components. Like, for example, let me go to the next chapter. If you highlighted any word inside your ebook, you will have some extra options, like, for example, copy to clipboard, text to speech, Wikipedia lookup, Google lookup, adding a note, or highlighting this word. So all of these are components that you can enable or disable from this section. Finally, for the Customize panel, you can view the end result of your ebook app from different platforms. Let's say I want to see how my ebook will look like from a Samsung Galaxy S4. So I can easily choose it, and I will be able to interact with it as if I'm opening it from a Samsung Galaxy S4. Okay, I can rotate the device. I can play around with it as if I'm opening it from my mobile device. There are some other platforms that you can try by yourself. Okay, so these are the 2 first phases. You've created the content of your ebook, as I mentioned, either from scratch, or importing a PDF, or importing an HTML file, or opening an EPUB file. Okay, now we will move forward to the export phase, okay, where we can export our ebook into an Android app. As you can see here, we have multiple formats that you can export your ebook to. The standard files you can export as an EPUB file, which is the standard file for interactive ebooks, but you will need a reader to read this file, like the Kotobee Reader app, which is a free app. You can read it by iBooks, for example, Kobo. All of these readers can read the EPUB files. Okay, you can export it as a Kindle.mobi. Okay, you can also export it as a PDF or a Word document, but however, these two won't be interactive. Okay, you can also export it as a web app. A folder will be downloaded to your desktop where you can take this folder that contains all the default files of your ebook, the HTML, JavaScript, and CSS, and you can upload this folder to your website using FTP. Okay. Another option is exporting it as a desktop app, Windows, Mac, or Chrome app. Let me leave the native mobile till the end because it's our main topic. You can integrate it with LMS. If you're a university or a school which has an LMS, you can export it as a SCROM file and you can upload this file to your LMS. The easiest way is to host it on our server. You'll just provide a unique alias, the book's name, for example, and you can give this URL to anyone to access your ebook through their web browser. Finally, if you have created a library through the Kotobee Author, which is another product by Kotobee, offered by Kotobee, the Kotobee Library. If you have already created a library through the Kotobee Author, you can upload this book to your own library branded app. Okay, now let's go back to the native mobile app. You can export your ebook as a native mobile app. Here we have three options: Android, iOS, and Windows Phone. Of course, our main topic today about the Android app. So if you want to export your ebook as an Android app, you will basically just provide the information of your ebook, the version 1.0, for example. You can put your own description, the orientation, the splash color of the loading screen. You can add an icon for your app, and you can display ads. Okay, because this is actually was one of our users' requests, which is adding ads to our mobile app. If you check this, you will have to provide the AdMob ID. You will need first to go to Google AdMobs, create an account, and you will be provided with an ID. You will come here and check the display ads. You will put the ID in this text field. This way, at the bottom of your app, there will be, let's say, a bar that shows, a banner that shows all of Google ads. Okay? Now, I've provided all of my app information. Now I want to export as an Android app. So we will click on Enable. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, in the traditional way, if you want to create a key store manually, you will need a JDK and you will need a command line prompt to be able to use it and some code lines in order to be able to create it. In the Kotobee Author, it's only clicking this button. You'll just click on Create Random Key Store. Okay. It will ask you to save it because you will need to use it if you're gonna release updates of the same app. Okay. I'm not gonna save it because I'm just doing it to show you in the webinar. As you can see here, it's created the alias, the password, and the private key password. Of course, you can save this file on your desktop and you can upload it whenever you're creating an update of the same app. Okay. In the Android version code, it's optional, but if you're gonna insert it, it must not be a decimal. It must be a whole number. Remember it, it must be a whole number. Okay, so after providing all of this information, all what you'll do is generate apps. Okay, so after generating the app, it might take some time if your ebook is a little bit large, containing videos, audio files, or such things. So I will not click on it, but I will show you what will happen after that. After you click on the Generate Apps, your app will go into our build queue in our server. It might take from 10 to 15 minutes and it will be ready for you to download the .apk file. You will go to the Manage panel in the Apps section and you will find your ebook like this one. It's an example that I've already exported. Okay, it's completed. Okay, it has your book's name, your version, and you can download it directly to your desktop. After you download the .apk file to your desktop, it's ready. You can go to your developer account on Google Play and you can upload the .apk file. Okay, so this is basically for individual ebooks. If we're talking about a single ebook, there's another situation where you can create a single app that contains all of your books. And here we're talking about the library solution. Let me first show you how a library looks like. This is actually a sample library. It's created by one of our users in South Africa. It's a magazine, okay? It's private, so we won't be able to access the books unless we log in first using email and password or using a promo code. All of these can be managed from inside the Kotobee author, of course, okay? But you can see how it will look like, how the end result will look like. If I clicked on any of the books, it will tell me login to read, okay, since it's private. If I log in, it will tell me open to read, and I can open the book directly from inside the library app. This is actually how it will look like if you opened it from a mobile device, from a tablet, from an iPad, or from your desktop. Okay, so let me go back to the Kotobee author. As I mentioned, if you want to create a library, you will go to the Manage panel, the Libraries section. Okay, let me choose a library. If you created a new library, you will have access to all of these 8 sections. You can control the books, the categories, you can add, edit, or delete books dynamically. You can add users to your accounts by emails and changing their passwords or sending activation emails. You can create promo codes and send this promo code to anyone to access your library. You can customize your library look like what we did with the single ebook. However, here we're customizing the whole library app. Of course, in the settings, you can declare your library to be private, log in using email and password, promo codes only, or both. You can have a device DRM. You can have an offline support feature for mobile apps. If you're going to export your library app as an Android app or an iOS app, your users can have access to the library while they are offline. They won't need internet connection. Finally, the export, which is very important to us. You can export the whole library app as an Android app, the same as we did with the single ebook. However, here we're talking about a single app that contains all of your books, and you can have full control over this library from this dashboard inside the Kotobee author. Okay, so this is basically how we can create ebook Android ebook apps with zero coding. Okay, let me go back to our presentation. Our free support channels. You can view the webinar recordings, the previous ones and this one as well, from our webinars page. It's kotobee.com/webinars. Okay, you will find all of the webinar recordings at the bottom of the page. Also, you will find step-by-step online video tutorials on our YouTube channels, as well as the webinar recordings. They are also available on our YouTube channel. And of course, the knowledge base articles. They are basically user manuals that contain steps to all what I've mentioned in this webinar and the previous ones, but they are written steps. Okay, it's on support.kotobee.com. And finally, to reach the Kotobee team as soon or as fast as you want, you can either email us, online chat, or using phone, and we will be more than happy to help you. And finally, the discount coupon, as I promised for all of the attendees of this webinar, it's a 10% discount coupon that you can use while purchasing any of Kotobee licenses. Okay, let me write it. Okay, so you can remember it. Webinar 72426. Here it is. I sent it to all the attendees. You can use it, as I mentioned, while purchasing any of Kotobee licenses. It's valid for 48 hours, 2 days starting from now. Okay, so as I mentioned, we have 10 to 15 minutes maybe for answering all of your questions. I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. Okay, Here are some questions sent by Paul, actually. He said that I write ebooks published on Amazon and other publishers. Can these be converted into apps and still used on the same publisher's platform? Actually, as I told you, Paul, yes, it can be. You'll just have to import the PDF or the EPUB file into the Kotobee author, as I mentioned, from the edit panel. And in the export phase, you can export to multiple formats. You can export to mobile apps and to desktop apps, as well as web apps. If you want to upload these ebooks to your website, you can export these ebooks as web apps, and you can upload the downloaded folder into your website. Also, Paul asked about what tools are used by the readers to read these new formats. As I mentioned, let me go back to the export phase in the Kotobee author. For the standard files, they will need reader apps like the Kotobee Reader to read the EPUB files. However, for the other formats, exporting as a web app, desktop, native mobile, integration with LMS, they won't need any other softwares or tools to read the ebook because there is an embedded reader that is exported with the book. So it's a standalone app, and they won't need any other tool to read these apps. Okay. Jocelyn is asking, when we created the app, all the images appeared in the user's photo gallery. Will this issue be solved if I disable the tab media? Yes, Jocelyn. If you disable the media tab, then there will be no direct access to the images. The users will have to go and read the chapters one by one in order to view the images inside the chapters. There will be no direct access if you disable the media tab. Okay, Hanel is asking, is it possible to make the Android ebook to expire over time, to have a time limit? Or you're asking about lending. Okay. If we're talking about single individual ebooks, you're exporting your ebook as an Android app, then no, you won't be able to put a time limit for it. However, if you converted your ebook into a cloud ebook while exporting it, before I click on the create app, I'll just convert the ebook into a cloud ebook. This way you will have an extra control over your ebook. Let me go back to the manage. In the cloud ebook, you will be able to make it private. This way your users will have to log in using email and password or promo codes, or you can leave both options. So let's say you've created a promo code for your user to access it. After a while, you can deactivate this promo code and he won't be able to access this ebook. And the same goes to libraries. If you have created an app that contains a number of ebooks and you've created a promo code for a user to access some ebooks inside your library, you can disable or deactivate this promo code at any time, and this way he won't be able to access these books unless maybe they pay a subscription or ask for other promo codes in order to access these books. Paul is asking, can they use their smartphone? Of course, they can. Actually, the exported ebooks are meant to be opened using the smartphones because they will actually be standalone native mobile apps. So they will need to download the apps either from the Google Play for Android or from the App Store for iOS. This way, they will be able to use it as normal apps like any other app on their smartphone. Okay, Adam is asking about the coupon code. From where can I use the coupon code? Okay, let me show it to you quickly. It's from our website, okay, kotobee.com. You will go to the downloads and pricing. where you will purchase one of the Kotobee licenses. Let's say you're going to purchase the premium license since you want to export your ebooks as Android apps, and the premium has 5 mobile exports. So you will click on the buy. Okay. If you are already a user, then you already have a serial number, so you will insert your serial number in this text field, and you will insert the coupon code in this text field, then sign in and continue with the payment process. If you are a new user, you will provide all of your information here, and then you will enter the coupon code here at the bottom, and then you will continue with the payment process. Okay. Another question from Paul. He's asking, do they pay for this app? Actually, it depends on you, Paul, actually. If you created a normal Android ebook app from the Kotobee author and you exported it actually as an Android app, you have the .apk file. You can upload it on Google Play as a paid app. So this way, they will have to pay through Google Play in order to download it to their mobile device. If it's a public app, then it will have no cost. Okay, a very good question from Adam about the libraries. He's asking, what if someone paid me or purchased subset of the books inside the library, not the whole library? Can I manage or can I give him permissions for certain books inside the library, not the whole library? Actually, you can, Adam. Let me go back here. We have users and promo codes. If you're dealing with emails and passwords, you have an extra tab which is called permissions. By default, the user, when you add a user, by default, he's a global user. He has an all permission. He can access the whole library. If you want to change this, let's say a user purchased only one book. So you can remove this permission and you can give him permission over the book that he has purchased. Click on add. Okay, now he can only access this book. He won't be able to access any book other than this inside your library. The same goes with promo codes. For a promo code, you can change the permissions of this promo code. By default, it's public, it's a global promo code, but you can change this promo code to be able to access certain books or certain categories. Okay, Joan is asking, from where can I chat with your representative if I need help? It's from our website. Okay, let me go back to our main website. It's kotobee.com. If you went down, you will find leave us a message. You'll just enter your name and email, and then you can start chatting directly with our representative, and I'm sure he will be able to help you. Okay, guys, so I think this is it. If you have any other questions that pop up in your mind, just send us an email, and we will be more than happy to help you. Okay. Okay, so there's one more questions from Arura. Okay, I can answer it before I leave. How are users added? Through a registration process? Okay, Arura, there are 4 different ways to add users. Let me talk about the library solution. It's the same for the cloud ebook, the single ebook. However, for the library, as I mentioned, it's for multiple of users, for multiple of books, I'm sorry. For the users, you can add them by 4 different ways. Either you can add them manually one by one by adding the email address of each user, okay, and click on add global user. A user is added in this table that you can either activate or send an activation email. In both ways, an email will be sent to this user asking him to create his own password, and then he can access the library using the email and the password created. Okay, so this is the first way. The second way, if you want to add bulk of users at the same time, you can click on Actions, import from Excel sheet. You can download our template, fill it with your users, and you can import this file, and all of your users will be imported in this table. The third option, let's say you're selling your ebooks through your website. okay, and you want to link the website with the library account so that users can be added automatically after purchasing the books. So in this case, you will need our user integration API. Okay, it's a very simple API. You will need a web developer, of course, to implement it to you on your website, but it's very simple, very straightforward to use, and it's available on our support website, support.kotobee.com. It's an API that can be used after the user purchases the book from your website. A post variable is sent using this API to the library account, and the user will be added automatically to this table. Okay, this is the third way. The fourth way is the same as the user integration API, but for WordPress website. It's a WooCommerce plugin that we have created for WordPress websites. Okay, that you can use. It has the same job. When a user purchases a book from your WordPress website, you will use the WooCommerce plugin to add this user automatically to this table. So these are the 4 different ways to add users to your library account, or if it's a cloud individual single ebook. For promo codes, it's simpler. You're just going to create a code and you can give it to anyone. You're not dealing with emails and passwords. Okay, I hope this helps. As I mentioned, if you have any other questions, just send us an email. A quick reminder, the 10% discount coupon, okay, it's valid for 48 hours starting from now. Thank you very much for attending. I hope that you've enjoyed this webinar, and I hope to see you again in the coming webinars. Thank you very much.